I'm thinking, right? Hey y'all, how y'all doing? If this ever gets posted, I'm thinking, man, about ADHD stuff, right? Like executive function issues, which is always the thought, right? Sorry, I just had some. Man, look, in this fall season, man, oh man, oh man, tomato bisque from your local Kroger, nice and hot. Let it bubble like some real soup. You can't just warm it up, get it lukewarm or anything like that. You gotta really find like the burnt crust around the top. You know what I mean? Not the soup, but like the little soup remnants, whatever. Soup splash. Anywho, you're welcome. Enjoy your fall. I'm thinking about ADHD stuff. I'm thinking about executive function stuff because it just doesn't have to be ADHD derived. And it's like, I watch a lot of podcasts and therapy and group sessions and just a bunch of different people's take on their experience, which I think is very, very helpful for me because there is no one right way to fix oneself. Excuse me, or even to just take account of oneself. But I was just sitting here thinking, before I lose it, like I do, I was like, I heard something earlier today. It was like, man, folks, especially folks with ADHD, or you know what I mean, it's brought up more and attributed and associated with that more than many other things or afflictions, right? Superpowers. One of those things is like us kind of folks tend to like work toward that day of not having executive function issues, right? That state of like steady flow when we can just sit down and go, okay, all right, I'm doing this, regardless if we want to do it or not, regardless of anything associated with that task. The task is the task. We've made the decision, or we have the feeling to go do it, and then we go do it. I never think about, well, did I get a good night's rest? Like, I don't go into that web of thoughts on that, right? When it happens, I just get into it. And I think during the actual getting into it, and in times like now where I'm sort of retrospective about it, you almost don't want people to see you in that mode. Like, we work for it. Well, I work for it. I want it. I appreciate it. When I figure out it's happening, it's almost like having like somebody that you like, right? That you like a whole lot, and you know that they're not necessarily battling, but for whatever reason they can't, or they won't, or they haven't shown you the same amount of interest, or the same amount of compatibility, or the same amount of like. It doesn't have to be anything romantic. It doesn't have to be romantic. It's like, it could be like a coworker, right? Like, you're always waiting for that coworker to help you more, right? Or in the way that you both, right, can in the way that you both can contribute heavily and in sync and in lockstep with each other. And then when that day comes and y'all are like knocking it out, and your two, the boss that's over the two of you, whether it's the manager, supervisor, director, CEO, right, sees this kind of work, understands the cadence, right, and might not be necessarily thrilled about it, but it's getting the job done. It's, okay, we're still meeting quota, we're still above SLA, things like that, right? But then you don't even want that. You don't even want your boss to see. I wouldn't even want my boss, or I feel like I wouldn't want my boss to get too comfortable with that idea of that level of productivity when I'm involved, right? And even if I'm involved in a group and it's a day where I feel overly productive, or I'm in not necessarily that state of flow we talk about or experience, not like hyper focus, not that, but the ability to get into something that you want to get into, or that you don't want to get into, that you just need to be getting into because I don't know, it's your job. I don't know it's your responsibility to your friend or your family. I don't know it's a chore you need to be doing. It's part of maintenance of a home or a vehicle or, whatever. Uh, I almost don't want people to see that. As much as you want to be in it and show it off and you want to be that, or I want to be that type of productive and type of, so hard to explain. I always, side note, I always feel like there's an easy answer from a neurotypical, and that's expected, right? Of course. But then I feel like I want to share context so that I can teach, right? Or expose, there we go, a neurotypical or somebody that doesn't resonate with this type of feeling, right? It's not a thought, it's not a decision, it's like a feeling, like, oh boy. So, yeah, just figured I'd drop that. I don't know, I don't have a message, but it was a new idea. And I'm just curious if anybody else resonates with that part, like the part about not even wanting, like wanting to experience it and, have that flow and have that solid executive function for that day and then hopefully for more, but then almost like, well, y'all don't get too comfortable. It's almost like when you have like a chill day and you reach out to your friends, or a chill week or a chill month or a month of transition, and you have the opportunity and energy to reach out to your friends, and you start calling your family a little bit more, right? Just to check on them. And so you start to feel like you're taking care of chores, you're getting stuff done, you're figuring out your day a little bit better, more efficiently, more effectively, really. And then you kind of drop back off. You kind of pull back, but you don't pull back like it's a revolving sort of thing. And I love consistency, and I'm very 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 sensitive to the fact that I'm an inconsistent person. And if I'm going to be inconsistent, I might as well love myself, tell the people I love about that inconsistency, and let them make their own decision. Let them follow their own true feeling, and be honest with them and fair with them about that. Maybe that's where I'm going with this. I don't know. It's just thoughts, right? I'm not trying to come up with the fix, but I think this is part of navigating the idea for me. So hopefully maybe somebody finds this. This is a little bit different than some of the stuff I've been putting up, but I think the whole point of this channel, or the whole point of me doing this, is to just not to be relatable to the masses, but hopefully to relate to the folks that don't resonate with the masses so much. And not, you might be feeling hopeless and lost and burnt out, or you might just be feeling irritated at the fact. It all depends on where you are in that ebb and flow, right? At least that's how I look at it. But just know that even if it's not exactly how you feel or exactly your thought process or your experience, right? I think there's a core feeling in there. And I'd be really curious to know if you watching this right now, resonate with it. You don't have to leave a dissertation. But hopefully, I don't know. There's a ton of videos, so it's easy to get lost about ADHD and how to navigate ADHD and how ADHD ruins relationships and this and that. So there's a ton of that. And it's all applicable, right? It's all situation and individualized. But then, anyway, we just yapping, right? But this time we just executive yapping, right? Y'all go ahead.